Although Vita Health Group provided this exercise class provisional with your health and safety in mind, each individual participant has their own limitations and should consult their general practitioner or an appropriate medical professional prior to undertaking the class. Should you be prone to injury, are currently pregnant, or be managing any functional limiting medical conditions, please seek medical confirmation prior to participating. At all times, ensure you follow all instructions provided by Vita Health Groups throughout the entirety of the recording. Should you experience any symptoms of dizziness, nausea, or increased pain at any point during your participation, please stop and seek the appropriate advice from your general practitioner or the 111 service.
Hello and welcome to today's class. My name's Danny and I will be your instructor for today. This class is our advanced lower back class, so it's aimed at people who are suffering with lower back pain but also have a good amount of experience of exercise to an advanced level. We're going to be targeting all of the major muscle groups in and around the lower back, and the aims of this session are to improve strength, coordination, and some flexibility and mobility work in there as well. All of the equipment that you need will be shown on the screen, so all you need to do is grab a drink and let's get started with our warm-up. Let's get started with our warm-up then. So with this warm-up, we're aiming to increase our heart rate, activate the muscles, increase mobility, all ready for our exercise class that's coming up. So we're going to start off nice and simple with just some marching on the spot. We're going to be doing this for 1 minute. Do it at your own pace, whether you want to go nice and slow or quite fast, completely up to you. Fab, let's get going for 1 minute then. Make sure we're swinging those arms, lifting the feet nice and high whilst we're marching. Remember, we're working to increase that heart rate, so just taking it at your own pace. That's great, keep swinging those arms, lifting those knees nice and high. And we are nearly halfway there. Great. Again, taking it at your own pace, just as we start the warm-up. Okay, 10 more seconds. Great, and bring that down to a stop. Brilliant. Okay, next thing we're going to do, we're just going to do some jogging on the spot this time. We're only going to go for 30 seconds this time. Again, doing it at your own pace. Just make sure that you've got a nice, safe environment around you. Okay, when we're ready, off we go. Again, make sure we're moving those arms and lifting those feet nice and high off the floor. That's it, halfway there. Good, 5 seconds left. And bring it down to a stop. Brilliant. Okay, so next thing we're going to do, we're going to go to do some hip circles. So for this one, I want your feet sort of shoulder width apart on the floor and the hands just resting on your hips. We're going to start off with very small circles. So we're going to sort of push the hips to one side, bring them round to the front and round to the back. Again, just do them at your own pace, and also with the circle, just make it as small or as big as you can, depending on how you're feeling. We're going to go for 30 seconds. When we're ready, off we go. That's it. So just make sure we're concentrating on really pushing those hips all the way around the movement. That's good. Because we're coming up to halfway, we're going to switch and go in the opposite direction. Again, like I said, if you need to do small circles with how you're feeling at the moment, that's absolutely fine. Or nice and big circles, doesn't matter. Great, and come to a stop. Okay, for the next exercise, we're going to go into doing some leg swings. For this one, I'm going to do it just freestanding, but if you need to, you can hold onto a wall hold onto the back of a chair, whichever works best for you. We're going to start off with our right leg. So again, like I said, holding onto something for stability if needs be. We're going to go for 30 seconds. We're just going to lift the leg out in front of us and then slowly lift behind. Okay, off we go. So just swinging that leg at your own pace. Like I said, if you need to hold on to something, then that's absolutely fine. Good. That's great. Keeping the knee nice and straight and just swinging back and forwards. That's it. We've got 5 seconds left on this leg and then we'll switch over. Great. Okay. So if you need to swing the chair around to the other side or reposition yourself so that you can hold onto the wall the opposite way, that's fine. And then we'll go for 30 seconds again. So on the left leg this time, swinging back and forth. That's great. Again, just doing it at your own pace, lifting the leg in a range of movement that's comfortable for you. Good. Okay, 10 seconds left on this leg. Great, and come to a stop, just back into our resting position. So the next activity that we're going to do is going to be with our arms. We're going to go for some arm circles. So what we'll do, we'll start off with our right arm because we started with our right leg. We'll pop our hand out to the side. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with some circles, just going backwards like this. If you need to do the circles nice and small, that's absolutely fine. Obviously, if you can, then we're going to do nice big circles with the arm. Again, just do whatever feels comfortable for you at the moment. And again, we're going to go for 30 seconds. That's it. Like I said, make sure we're doing this one in a comfortable range of movement. It can be as small or as big as you need at the moment. That's great. We've done 15 seconds on this arm. That's great. Last 5 seconds. Brilliant, okay. And this time we're going to do the exact same on the left arm. So again, arm out to the side. You can do small circles if you need to. Obviously big ones if you can as well. Fab, off we go, 30 seconds on this one. That's great. Again, just going at the speed that sort of works for you at the moment. If you need to move nice and slowly through this movement, that's fine. Obviously, if you can, then obviously we'll go a bit quicker. That's great, and just 5 more seconds. Perfect, okay. Last exercise of our warm-up, we're going to do some movements with our spine. So we're going to work in 4 different directions. We're going to go for a forward movement, a backwards movement, and then side to side as well. So what I'll do first is I'll show you what we're going to do, and then I'll explain how many we're going to do after that. So we're going to have the feet shoulder width apart again. For the forwards movement, I'd like you to have your hands resting on the front of your legs. And then what I want you to do nice and slowly is just come down as far as you can until you start to feel that bit of a stretch in the lower back, and then return up to your neutral position. Then we'll go for the opposite. So this time I'll turn to the side to show you, you're going to lean backwards. Again, just a gentle movement and back up to the neutral position. Then hands down by our sides. It doesn't matter which side you do first, but you're going to bend over to the side, back up, and over to the other side. We're going to do 5 in each direction. Again, just going as far as you can. Okay, we'll do them all together. So if we start at the front, we're going to come down, just go as far as you can, and then back up to that neutral position. Then we're going to lean back, again to the neutral position, hands down by our sides, drop one hand down the side of the leg, back up, and then over to the side. So that's 1 repetition. So now we'll go for our second. So again, we're going to come back down the front, nice and slowly and controlled. And then this time lean backwards. That's great. And then down to one side. back up and over into the other direction. Brilliant, onto number 3, so back to the front, coming down as far as you can, and back up, and then leaning back, and back into that neutral position. Hands down by our sides, and we'll go over to one side, and back up, then over to the other side, and back up. And now for number 4, back to the front, leaning forwards, and back up. Hands on our hips, and we'll lean backwards, back to our neutral position, and down to one side, and back over to the other direction. Brilliant, last one now, hands back on the front. We're going to lean down as far as we can, back up to the middle, hands on our hips, and lean back to the middle, and then this time we'll drop down one side, back up, and then down to the other side. Okay, that completes our warm-up. So if you want to go and grab a bottle of water ready for our exercise class, and we'll get started. Okay, so this exercise is called the glute bridge with hip adductor squeeze. So we are going to need a pillow for this exercise, pillow or a cushion, something like that. We're going to be on the floor, on our backs. So take your time getting to the floor. If you need to pause the video, then make sure you do so. Make sure you've got your pillow with you. So we're going to sit on the floor with the knees in a bent position. We're going to have the knees at about sort of 45 degrees. You're going to pop the pillow in between your knees. I'm just going to fold mine in half with it being a big pillow. Pop it between the knees and then lie back onto the floor. So we're going to be doing a glute bridge. So we're going to have our shoulders on the floor, hands down by our sides, and we're just going to lift the hips off the floor and then back down, okay? The added extra on this one is obviously we've got the cushion. So throughout the whole movement, I want you squeezing the thighs together as much as you can, squeezing that cushion as much as possible throughout the whole movement. So we're going to start now by squeezing the cushion together. We're going to go up into our bridge and then back down. And that is the whole movement, okay? We're going to do 3 sets of 8. So we'll have a rest in between each one. But for this first set, let's go for 8, okay? So squeeze the cushion and then lift, squeezing the glutes at the top and back down. Okay, and up, squeeze those glutes, pause for a second and come back down. Nice steady breathing, squeeze those glutes at the top. Very good. Okay, that's 4, so we're halfway there. And again. Nice slow breathing on this one. Keep squeezing that cushion as much as you can. 2 more. Very good. Okay, that's great. So from here, we're going to take a 20-second break. If you need a drink or anything like that, make sure you grab one, and then we'll come back for our second set. Okay, so back for our second set, we're going to do exactly the same thing. So make sure you've got your cushion or your pillow. You could even use a rolled up towel or something like that. Anything that's this sort of width that you can squeeze. Lie down on the floor. And we're going to go for 8 again. So make sure we squeeze that cushion together to start off with. And then all the way up and back down. And back down, squeezing that cushion throughout the whole set. So don't stop squeezing that cushion. Even when you come to the bottom, keep squeezing. That's 4, so we're halfway. And again, when we're at the top of that movement, make sure we're squeezing our glutes. Okay, 2 more. That's great. Okay, and from there, we're just going to come up into our seated position. Remove the cushion and sit up. Okay, that's the end of our second set. So we're going to take another 20-second break and then we'll come back for our third and final set of this exercise. Okay, and back for our third set, so make sure we get the cushion again, pop it in between the knees, and then we're going to lie back. Okay, hands down by our sides, palms flat on the mat, squeeze that cushion in, and off we go, lift up into that bridge, squeeze the glutes at the top, pause for a second, and come back down, and again, squeeze those glutes, and back down. So squeeze at the top, but we should be squeezing that pillow the whole time, remember? Good. Okay, that's 4, so we're halfway. That's great. 2 more. Squeeze at the top, and back down. Last one. Try and squeeze it there if you can, and come back down. Okay, now what I want you to do is come back up into your standing position, take your time. Okay, and that's it for this exercise. So we're going to take a 20-second break. If you need to get a quick drink, then make sure to get one, and we'll come back for the next exercise. Okay, so this exercise is the side plank with the hip abduction. We're going to be in a side laying position for this exercise, down on the mat. So take your time to get down there. We're going to be doing 3 sets. We're going to do something slightly different on this one, where we do 8 repetitions on each side for the first 2 sets. And for the final set, we're going to do something that's called doing the exercise until failure. So what that means is that on the last set, you will do as many of the exercise as you can until it feels like your muscles can't do any more. So that will be different for each person, and it will probably be different for you each time you do the exercise class. So when we get to the third one, I'll make sure to explain that again. But to start off with, we're just going to do 8 on each side. So we need to go into a side plank position. I'll show you one first. Elbow on the floor, directly below the shoulder, feet out to the side. This time the feet need to be on top of each other. Then what we're going to do, once we've got all of the body in line, we're going to lift up into a side plank position. And from here, you're going to lift the top leg up and down. That's 1 repetition, and we're going to do 8. And then we'll move on to the other side, do 8, and then we'll have a quick rest before we go on to the second set, okay? So when you're ready, lift up into your side plank, and off we go, lift and down. Up and down, keeping the core engaged the whole time. Squeezing that muscle to lift the leg. 3 more. Good, and relax from there. Okay, we're going to switch to the other side. Okay, so we need the elbow on the floor. Make sure that the feet are in line with the knees and hips and the shoulder, so that the whole body is in line. And then when you're ready, we'll push up into our side plank and we lift. 8 repetitions. Keeping that core engaged. And relax from there. Okay, that's the end of the first set. So we're going to take 20 seconds, have a quick break, and then we'll come back for the second set. Okay, and let's get started with our second set then. So we're going to go back to the side that we were originally on, and we're going to come down to the mat on our elbow. Make sure that all our joints are in line, so we've got ankle, knee, hip, shoulder, all in one nice straight line. And from here we're going to push up into our side plank position, and off we go for 8 more. So lift and down, keeping that core engaged, keeping the body in line. Nice steady breathing. Good, and relax from there. Okay, and then we'll swap sides. So we'll go over to the other side. You might find that on these you have a stronger side than the other, and that's absolutely fine. We're just trying to work all the muscles up to make them nice and strong. Okay, so from here, all the joints in line again, elbow underneath the shoulder, lift up into that side plank, and off we go for 8. Good, and return back down. Brilliant. Okay, so we're going to take a 20-second break again, and then we're going to come back for our third and final set of this exercise. Okay, so let's get started with our third and final set of this exercise. So as I mentioned before, this set is going to be until failure. So all that means is when we get started, just do as many of these movements as you can. If you can only feel like you can do 2, that's absolutely fine. If you feel like you can do more than 8 and go until 12 or whatever, that's absolutely fine as well. We'll just keep going. If you're doing more than I am, what I would suggest is pausing the video until you get to sort of the failure point, and then start the video again so that we can be at the same time. Okay, so we're going to go back to the original side we started on. Bring the elbow down to the mat. Make sure that we're all in line. Good. And then we're going to push up into our plank position. And we're going to lift and down, just until you feel like you can't do any more. So we're not counting on this one really. Just going until you feel like you can't do any more. And then coming down when you're ready. Obviously, if you want to keep going, then keep going. And just pause the video until you're done. Then we'll switch sides, and we're going to go until failure on the opposite side as well, okay? So up into your side plank and go again. Just until you feel like you can't go anymore, when your muscles feel too tired. Good. Okay, well done on that one. Just slowly return to your standing position. And we're going to take a 20-second break. Go and grab yourself a drink if you need one, and then we'll be right back for the next exercise. Okay, so this exercise is called the single leg body hinge. So for this one, we're going to be doing 3 sets. We're going to do 8 repetitions on each set. So we're going to start on one leg with the other leg out behind you. You're going to have the hands sort of resting in front, what you're going to imagine is that the bottom leg that's on the floor is almost our pivot point. The rest of the body, if you imagine, I like to imagine it like a seesaw, so we're going to go sort of back and forth, keeping the rest of the body straight. So you're going to have the hands in front of you, you're going to lean forwards nice and slowly, lift the legs and drop the body, and then squeeze the glute muscles to bring you back up to a standing position. Okay, we're going to do 8 repetitions on each leg. We'll do 8 on our right leg first, and then we'll turn and do 8 on our left leg, and then we'll have a break and go into our second set. So it doesn't matter which leg you start on, you're going to have one leg planted on the floor, one leg out behind, arms in front, and off we go. We're going to lean forwards, squeeze the glute muscles back up from there. Okay, with this one, obviously there's a lot of balance in this exercise. So if you feel like you need to hold on to a chair or something like that, then you can. If not, just take it nice and slow. And also, if you need to reset yourself, then just do so. Okay, 3 more on this one. Good, and you should be starting to feel it in that bottom leg. Okay, cool. So now onto the left leg. So same thing. The left leg is the stance leg this time, other leg out behind. Hands down in front. And then we're going to lower. Okay, and then come back up. Obviously you'll have one leg where the balance isn't necessarily as good. So just take it slowly. Maybe don't go down as far. That's great, and then 3 more on this one. Keeping that body nice and straight. Remember, we're thinking like a seesaw. Going back and forth. Last one. Great. Okay, so that's the end of that set. We're gonna have a 20-second break and then we'll come back to do the second set. Okay, I'm back for our second set. So we're gonna go back to the original leg that we started on. Pop the other leg out behind, hands down in front, and off we go. Remember, really trying to think about balance on this one. Squeeze those muscles and the glutes to get you back up. That's great, and like I said, in terms of balance, if you need to hold on to a chair or go next to a wall so you've got something to support you, that's fine. Okay, 3 more. That's great, nice steady breathing. Brilliant. Okay, onto the opposite leg. So we change legs, pop the other leg behind us, hands down in front, we drop the hands down, lift the leg. Like we said, like we were on a seesaw, so the body and the legs stay straight. Just go at your own pace. If you need to take it a little bit slower, that's absolutely fine. 4 more. Okay, and 1 more. That's great. Okay, that's the end of our second set then. We're going to take 20 seconds break and then we'll come back for our final set. Okay, and into our final set. So on this one, we're going to do something slightly different. We're still going to do 8 repetitions on each leg. However, if you get to the 8th repetition and you feel like you can still carry on, then I want you to try and do as many as you can after that point. until it feels like the muscles can't do anymore. So like we mentioned before, doing the exercise until failure, but only if you can get to 8, go above, okay? So back onto the original leg, hands down in front, thinking about that balance, and lift the leg, and back down. Okay, when we're coming back into the standing position, really try and think about squeezing the glute muscles to get you back into that position. Okay, 3 more. Okay, and as we come up to the last one, if you feel like you can do more than this, more than 8, then feel free to pause the video and continue. If not, then we're going to switch round onto the opposite leg, foot out behind, hands in front, and off we go. That's it, using those glute muscles to pull us back up. Okay, 2 more. And then, as we said before, if you feel like you can do more than 8, then just pause the video here and continue until you feel like your muscles can't do any more. Okay, that's the end of this exercise. We're going to have another 20-second break. Grab yourself a quick drink of water, and then we will come back for the next exercise. Okay, so this exercise is the standing trunk extension. If you need a chair or a wall to hold on to for balance, then that's absolutely fine. If not, we're just going to do it freestanding. So this is a stretch, this exercise. So we're going to be holding it for 20 seconds, 4 times through. I'm going to take just a few seconds break in between each one of the stretches. If you feel like you need longer, then make sure to pause the video in between repetitions so that you can have a little bit longer. For this one then, we're going to have feet shoulder width apart. I'm going to show you from side on so that you can see what I'm doing. The hands are going to go on the hips. And then from here, what we're going to do is you're going to push the hips forwards and try and sort of lean the chest backwards, okay? So we're in this extended position. This is the stretch. From here, you're going to try and breathe nice and slowly. And we're going to hold it for 20 seconds, okay? So when you're ready, off we go. We're going to push forwards and hold. So breathing nice and gently. Just going as far as you can with this, as we do with any stretches. Just going to the point where you can feel a gentle stretch, not feeling pain. If you're feeling pain, it might be that you're just going too far. Okay, and then come back up and rest from there. So that's the first one done. So as I said before, if you feel like you need a little bit longer in between repetitions, just pause the video and come back when you are ready. But if not, then we're going to go again. So feet shoulder width apart again, hands on the hips, and then from here, push the hips forwards and chest backwards. Off we go. So nice, slow breaths. Try and relax into this position if you can. That's great, nice, slow breathing. Okay, and relax from there. Brilliant, okay, so that's 2 out of the 4 done. Again, if you need a bit longer, make sure to pause the video. If not, then we'll just get ready to go again. So again, feet shoulder width apart, hands onto the hips, and then from here, push those hips forward, lean backwards, and off we go for another 20 seconds. Don't worry about your range of movement on this one. Just go to the point where you feel that gentle stretch and no pain. We're working in that pain-free range of movement. The more and more you do this exercise, the easier it will get and the more range of movement you will start to see. Okay, and relax from there. Brilliant. Okay, we've got one more left to do then. As I said before, if you need a bit longer before we do the final one, then just take that time now. If not, then let's go for the final one. So feet shoulder width apart, hands on our hips, and then from here, gently push those hips forwards and lean backwards, and off we go. That's great. As I said before, if you need a chair to hold on to or a wall to steady yourself, that's absolutely fine. Okay, and from here, just gently come back up to our standing. That's great, that's the end of that exercise. So we're going to take a quick 20 seconds break. If you need to go and get a drink of water or anything like that, then please do, and then we'll come back for the next exercise. Okay, so this exercise is called a sit back. So we're going to be sat down on the floor for this one. So just take your time getting down to the floor. If you need to pause the video whilst you do so, that's fine. We're going to have our knees in a flexed position, like so. From here, what we're going to do, our hands are going to come across our chest. This exercise is working our core muscles. So you're going to engage the core, sort of squeeze those muscles, and then you're very slowly going to lean back to about this sort of angle, and then we're going to hold it for 20 seconds, keeping that core engaged, keeping the feet on the floor, and then we'll come back up into a neutral position. We're going to do it 4 times through. I'll take a little break in between each exercise, but if you do need longer, then just obviously pause the video and return when you feel ready to go again. Okay, so into this position, feet flat on the floor, arms across the chest. Engage those core muscles, so tighten up all the abdominal muscles, and then we're going to lean back just as far as we can. Off we go, 20 seconds. So making sure that the whole time you're keeping those muscles engaged. So you should feel it working really, really well in these abdominal muscles. If you feel you can go slightly further, then do. If you feel like you can't go as far, then that's fine, just sit up slightly. Okay, and come back up. Brilliant, okay, that's the first repetition done. So we've got 3 more to do. As I said, if you do need a little bit longer before the next one, just feel free to pause the video and come back when you are ready. But if not, then let's get ready to go again. So feet flat on the floor, knees bent up, arms over the chest, engage those core muscles, so feel them switch on as you tense those muscles, and then lean back, and off we go for 20 seconds. As I said before, you can go as far back as you feel comfortable with. If you feel you can only come slightly back before you get any pain or discomfort or anything like that, then that's fine. If not, then go slightly further. That's great. Okay, and from there, come back up into that relaxed position. Okay, that's great. That's 2 out of 4 completed. If you need a little bit more time in between now and the next repetition, feel free to pause the video. If not though, we will keep going. So feet are flat on the floor, knees bent up, arms over the chest, switch that core on and lean backwards into this exercise. Off we go. That's great, so keep those core muscles engaged. Imagine you've got a tight belt on that you're trying to squeeze into. Brilliant. Keeping that back nice and straight as well. Okay, and back up to our relaxed position. Okay, so we've got 1 repetition left to do. As I've said before, if you need a little bit more time, feel free to pause the video and just come back when you are ready. If not, let's get ready for the last one. So feet flat on the floor again, knees bent up, arms over the chest, engage that core and then lean backwards. Off we go. Again, just going as far as you can. Squeezing those core muscles. That's great, and back up to that neutral position. And then take your time getting back up into a standing position. And then that is the end of that exercise. So we're going to take 20 seconds break, grab yourself a drink if you need one, and we'll come back for the next one. Okay, so this exercise that we're doing now is a variation of the bird dog. For this exercise, we're going to be down on the mat. So take your time getting down to the floor. If you need to pause the video whilst you do so, that's fine. We're going to be in a 4-point kneeling position. So the hips need to be directly above the knees and the hands directly underneath the shoulders. And then from here, what we're going to do, nice and slowly, because this one's really going to test our balance and our core strength, is you're going to lift the same arm and same leg at the same time, and then slowly return them back to the mat, trying to keep the back as straight as you can, and trying to limit as much movement in the shoulders and the hips as you can, trying to keep them level. I know it's a little bit difficult because we are really testing that balance. But just give it your best shot. Okay, we're going to go 8 on each side, and then we'll have a rest before our second set. Okay, off we go. So slowly lift, same arm, same leg. That's it. Good. That's 1 repetition. Like I said, just go at your own pace. Squeeze in those core muscles, engage in the core. Yeah. Good, okay, we're about halfway there. Just doing it at your own pace. Good. 3 more on each side. Final one. That's great. Okay, so that is the end of our first set. We're going to take 20 seconds break, and then we'll come back for our second set. Okay, let's get started on our second set then. We're doing exactly the same thing as we did in the first set. Into our 4-point kneeling position. So hips directly above the knees, hands directly below the shoulders. And then from here, we're going to go same arm, same leg, out and back in, nice and slow and controlled. Keeping the spine nice and parallel to the floor. Really engaging those core muscles. Just lift the hands and the feet as much as you can. If at any point you lose your balance mid-repetition, just come back to the neutral position and do that one again. And we're going for 8 on each side. Keep that spine nice and straight. Keep those core muscles switched on. Should be able to feel those tensing in your stomach. Great. Okay, 2 more on each side. Keeping the shoulders level and the hips level. That's great. Okay. Fab. That's the end of our second set then. We're going to take 20 seconds break. If you need a water or anything like that, then make sure to grab one, and we'll come back for the final set. Okay, and let's get ready then for our final set. With this one, we're still going to aim for 8 repetitions on each side. If when we get to 8 you feel like you can do more than 8, then feel free to pause the video and continue on until you feel like you can't do it anymore. So what we call going to failure. So going until the muscles feel like they can't perform any more of those exercises. If we get to 8 and you feel like that's enough for you, then that's fine, just stop at 8, okay? So back into our 4-point kneeling position. And then from here, off we go in your own time. Just lift the leg and the arm, and back in, lift, and back in. Good, finding your balance on each one. So like that one where I've just come down a bit too fast, just try and reset, and go again. Great, nice and slowly at your own pace, keeping that core engaged, keeping the shoulders and the hips at the same level as much as you can. Good. A few more on each side. Remember, we're going up to 8, and when we get to 8, if you feel like you can do more, then just continue. Okay, so this is the 8th one. Good. If you feel like at that point you can do more, then keep going. If not, then return nice and slowly back to our standing position. Okay, and that is the end of that exercise. Grab yourself a quick drink. We're going to have 20 seconds and then we'll come back for the next one. Okay, so this exercise is called the long sit rotation. This one is a stretch, so we're going to be getting into a certain position and then holding it for a period of time. We're going to do 15 seconds and we're going to do 3 on each side. We need to be sat down on the floor for this one, so take your time getting to the floor and pause the video if you need to. We're going to want to sit with our feet out in front of us with our knees extended, sitting as upright as possible. We'll start with the right leg, so we're going to bend the right knee up so that our foot is in line with our left knee. And then what you're going to do from here is try and bring the foot over to the outside of the left leg. From here, you're going to extend your left arm and try and cross it over the right knee. And from here, you're going to try and push the right knee over towards that left leg, and you should feel a stretch in the lower back. Okay, we're going to hold for 15 seconds here. Off we go. Pushing that leg just as much as you can over the opposite side. Good. And as with all the stretches, just going to the point where you feel comfortable. Okay, and that's 15 seconds. So relax from there. Bring the leg back down, and we're going to do it the opposite way now. So we're going to bring the left foot up so that it's in line with our right knee. Then bring it over to the outside of the right leg. Take the right arm and pop it over the knee, and then try and push the knee across so that we're stretching the lower back. Just go as far as you can. If you can push the knee further than I can, then that's great. If you can't go quite as far, just go to the point where you feel that gentle stretch. Okay, and from there, slowly relax, bring the leg back down. Okay, so we've got 2 more to do on each side. So we'll go for the right leg again, bring the right knee up, switch over to the other side, bring the arm across and push into the knee so that you're feeling the stretch down the back and into the glutes. Okay, off we go. Breathe in nice and slowly on these ones. Very good. Okay, and relax from there. and over to the left side. So left knee up, cross the foot over to the outside of the other leg, bring the arm over and push that knee across. Off we go. That's great, and then relax from there. Okay, last one on each side now. So we're going to go for the right knee again, bring it up, cross the foot over, arm out in front, and then push the knee away with the arm. Here we go. That's great, just going as far as you can. Okay, and then relaxing from here. Left knee up this time for the last one. Cross the foot over, pop the arm across, and then push the knee over with the arm. Off we go. That's great, nearly there. And now relax. And take your time to get back up into a standing position. Okay, so that is the end of that exercise, and that also brings us to the last exercise of this class before we move into our cool down. So we're going to take a 20 seconds break, grab yourself a drink of water or whatever you've got, and then we're going to be right back here for our cool down. Okay, let's get started with our cool down. So with the cool down, we're going to be focusing on bringing that heart rate back down, bringing our breathing rates back down, and sort of just relaxing the muscles after the class that you've done. So we're going to start off nice and easy with 30 seconds of deep breathing. So for the breathing, I'd really focus on breathing in through the nose and then breathing back out through the mouth. We're wanting those nice deep breaths. So when we are breathing in, try and think about sort of filling the rib cage, and then obviously releasing on the breath out. Okay, we're going to go for 30 seconds all together. Off we go. So like I said, breathing in through the nose and back out through the mouth. And make sure, like we said, we're really trying to fill that rib cage with air when we're breathing in, and then breathing out nice and slowly. You might find that at the moment, because you've just finished the exercises, that it's a bit difficult to slow that breathing rate down, but just go at your own pace. Okay, fab. What we're going to go on to next, again, nice and easy, we're going to go on to some walking on the spots. So in the warm-up before, we were obviously trying to increase our heart rate with the marching and the jogging. This time we're trying to bring it back down. So we're going to go nice and slowly and just walk on the spot. Okay, for 30 seconds, off we go. That's great. So still swinging those arms like we were before, but obviously just in a bit more of a relaxed position on this one and going a little bit slower. That's great. That's halfway there. Five more seconds. Great, okay, this time we're going to move on to doing some hip circles. So we did these in our warm-up before, but again, a bit like the walking, we're going to bring the pace down on this one. So we're going to have the feet shoulder width apart, hands on the hips, and again, make the circles as small or as big as you can. And we're just going to go big circles with the hips, nice and slowly. We're going to do 30 seconds all together. Off we go. So bringing the pace down a little bit on this one, just moving through the full movement, nice and slowly. We can still concentrate on our breathing in these cool down exercises. So really trying to slow that breathing down. 10 more seconds. Great, okay. For the next movement, we're going to be going down to the floor. So take your time getting down. If you need to hold on to something, then do that. Nice and carefully onto the floor. And we're going to have the feet out in front, legs nice and straight. I want you to try and keep the knees as straight as possible with this one. And then we're going to rest the hands on front of the thighs. From here, we're just going to slide down the legs just as far as you can. And we want to grip on to our legs as close as we can to our ankles, and we're going to hold that stretch for 30 seconds. Okay, so moving down just as far as you can, and then let's hold for 30 seconds. Off we go. Still focusing on that breathing when we're doing this movement, so breathing nice and slowly in and out, and we should feel that nice gentle stretch down the back of the legs. Okay, we're halfway there. 10 seconds left. And 5 seconds. Okay, and sit back up into that relaxed position. We're going to get ourselves back up into a standing position, but again, take your time. If you need to hold on to something to help you get up, then that's absolutely fine. Okie doke. Once we're up then, for the next movement, we're going to be doing some stretches, mobility work for the middle back. So we're going to have the feet shoulder width apart again. The hands this time are going to come up behind the head. And we're going to be doing 4 different movements. So we're going to be coming down into a forward position, back up and into a slightly extended position. Then we're also going to do some flexion to the side, back up into a middle position and over to the side. Okay, we might add in a little bit of rotation too, just to stretch a few extra muscles. We're going to go for 30 seconds. I want you to go at your own pace, and we're just going to move through all those different movements, just making sure that we're stretching all the right muscles. Okay, off we go all together. So coming forwards, back up into that slightly extended position, and back down, over to the sides, and then rotating. That's great. And again, we're going to go slightly forwards and up and slightly back. Then we're going to lean to the sides. And again, we might go slightly over 30 seconds, but we want to get all those movements back in. And the final rotation. Okay, and then bring the arms back down into our neutral position. We're going to finish off by doing 30 seconds of our deep breathing again. So we're going to go in through the nose, out through the mouth, make sure we're trying to fill that rib cage there, and then release. Okay, off we go. So hopefully this breathing will be sort of easier now. Hopefully you'll be breathing that a little bit slower. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Again, really trying to fill that rib cage with air. And back down. Brilliant. Okay, well done everyone. So thank you for attending our exercise class today. We hope you've enjoyed it, and we hope to see you very soon on our next session. Thank you.